Hello and thank you for watching Dukascopy TV. Still with me in the studio is Fabio Michienzi, Director at BCM Partners. Okay, so we've looked there at some of the macro developments there. If we talk a little bit about currencies, the last month has seen some step forwards and some steps back on the key currencies, really. The US is emerging from its cold weather-induced slowdown, but at the same time we also have indications from the ECB that they're becoming more reluctant, really, to expand monetary policy further. How could this impact the resilience of the single currency moving forward?
Right, I'm happy you mentioned the world weather, because weather is an exogenous effect that is impacted massively the federal messages to the wide public. If we see the federal beige book, the latest one, we can notice that the world weather has been used and abused 119 times, which is probably a record. And this is just to pass one message. The message is that despite disappointing data, the economy is not slowing down, and this is despite also the withdrawal of $85 billion of help, of monthly help. So the Fed going forward will continue with its tapering process, and will probably broaden the scope, the forward guidance it is giving to market to not only being based on the 6.5% unemployment rate, but to a broader range of data. On the other side, the markets have been very disappointed by the lack of action from the European Central Bank. Markets were expecting either conventional or unconventional measures in order to try and help the economy come out of recession in the old continent and to avoid deflation. The message has been a blunt message saying the economy is recovering, and we see inflation going to 1.8% in 2016, which the market do not believe. As such, there's been a quite interesting impact on foreign exchange markets, where the euro is pegged against the dollar. Now, this movement has been emphasized even more by two other factors. One is deriving directly from the Ukrainian crisis we've been discussing before, because the Russian central bank, in order to defend the ruble and the local currency, has been allegedly selling dollars against euros and rubles, of course. On the other side, we have another effect coming from the protectionist policy I see now in the United States, which is making the dollar losing appeal on an international trade base. And as such, some central banks, and allegedly the Popular Bank of China, have been differentiating their reserves by selling dollars and buying euros. All in all, this has created a dislocated situation on the forex markets, which I believe will normalize once the recovery in the United States will be more powerful, and as such the purchase power of the United States consumer will gain momentum, and this will correct and reverse the situation with the dollars gaining value against the euro.
Okay, now the central bank manipulation is rife, really. What's been interesting is the New Zealand dollar has been performing far greater than some of its commodity peers of late. Also, we had something interesting. The Bank of New Zealand, Reserve Bank of New Zealand, raised rates, and they bucked the trend, really. But what other key currencies have you been keeping an eye out for? What else is interesting?
What else is interesting is that I see the market is flooded with liquidity nowadays, and this has changed the perception of the investors towards risk. There is a much accrued risk appetite at the moment, and there is a lack of possibility of investment, which makes the case for a dramatic drop in prices quite impossible at the moment. As you know, at BCM Partners, we are much more focused on fixed income and credit, global credit strategies. And this lack of investment products, in our opinion, have opened the doors even in credit and fixed income, to a lot of opportunities. Going back to New Zealand is clearly a story of success. GDP has been revised up to 3.3% from 2.8%. Unemployment is down to 6%. Inflation is on a rise at 1.6%. The housing market is booming. There is a lack of skilled workers. So all signs that the New Zealand is out of the blues and is booming. This is why yesterday the Central Bank of New Zealand has increased the reference rate by a quarter of basis point to 2.75%.
Well, Fabio, there's so much going on. We could really sit here and discuss it for hours, but thank you so much for coming in and sharing your insights with us today.
I do thank you for your question. They were very interesting and I love to be with you today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much. Okay, well, that's all from Fabio and myself for the moment. Make sure you keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV for many more exclusive interviews. Goodbye for now.